I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Livestock and Grain Market News, here with your weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending December the 14th, where your feeder cattle and calves, most all weights, sold firm to $4 higher. And the market grew progressively stronger as the week went through. You had a real strong performance on your CME cattle futures on Tuesday, which that helped. And the Tuesday markets did respond. They were quite a bit higher than Monday, but and then we had some late markets like on Thursday that were even dollars higher than that. But for the most part, your weekly market was firm to $4 higher. Best demand continues to be on cattle ready to go right into the feedlot, and I think being right here at the end of the year definitely is helping that. Your commercial feedlots are filling their needs right here close to the end of the year. And also up in the Midwest and in the Northern Plains, you saw a significant re-entering of the farmer feeders back into the market, as they were pretty reluctant to get in early, as they were dry and weren't really excited about feeding any cattle. But then they got to looking maybe at their tax books, and they'd had cattle for the last several years, and it's hard to just quit doing that altogether. You have to kind of scale back a little at a time if you want to get out of the business of doing that, or it gives you kind of a tax problem. But we'll just have 1 week left before we're going to be completely done with cattle marketing for the year. But a lot of sale barns have already closed and going to be closed for 3 full weeks. Your southeast will be completely shut down for 2 solid weeks, but going to be extremely light marketing even on this next week leading up into Christmas. As people that work at those feedlots that process those cattle, they want some time off too, and it's just going to be real light marketing for the next 3 weeks. Probably won't be hardly any cattle sold at all during Christmas week with it landed on Tuesday like that. But after the first of the year, a lot of uncertainty there. There's not going to be really anything to drive the market following this end of the year buying, and it's still dry. We haven't had any weather really to speak of, but we do expect for the receipts, auction receipts especially, to be extremely lighter as we work into the new year. Maybe not right off the bat, but probably towards the end of January and definitely into February, as a lot of producers that normally sell that time of year have already sold their cattle due to the dry weather and trying to save their cows too. But still, good demand seems better for the heavy cattle, even though we know we're going to be short of lighter cattle, and the demand for those is good also, but continues good for these real heavy cattle. They don't need a lot of roughage. Roughage is at a premium right now. A lot of times you like to see feedlots and yards of any type buy some cattle that they could put on some ground hay and really get some cheap gain out of. But the heck of it is, a lot of them don't have any hay at all. Are having a hard time finding enough roughage just to make the rations, and they just soon have some of those big heavy cattle. Not seeing much discount on cattle coming out of the growing yards, as those cattle are fleshier, but they can take them from the growing yard right into the feedlot, and they just keep right on going. They don't have to change a whole lot. But this week at the Kingsville Livestock Auction, which is a major market in a real rural area down south and east of Kansas City, and the sale barn's definitely the biggest thing going on in that town on a Tuesday. But at Kingsville there, they had a load of 1,029-pound steers bring $1.40. And that's still quite a ways from a big feedlot, and that's quite a market for cattle that heavy. We're not seeing much more than that for cattle weighing in the upper 7s or in the low 8s. But your spring grazing is going to be a big question mark all through the early part of the new year, and we're already starting to hear talk of owners, landlords in the major grazing areas, the Flint Hills and the Osage, saying that if they don't get any runoff, any significant moisture between now and spring, they're not going to be able to let guys turn cattle out there. There's not any water to drink. The stock ponds are empty. The pastures are just so dry. They don't want to have what little grass they have pulled out, and maybe take a chance on jeopardizing their pasture altogether. But we really need some snow. It's not going to be a white Christmas in most areas. Up in the northwest they're getting snow, and maybe out west in Northern California and places, but the central part of the United States needs some moisture in any form as bad as they can get it. A big snow, as much as we hate snow, would be welcome, but going to have something between now and spring. Fat cattle market as of this late Friday, steady to 50 higher on a live basis from 124 to 124 and a half. It's mostly in Kansas. Texas has not sold a whole lot, as they're really holding out for more money with support from the board. In the northern feedlot areas, they sold some cattle earlier in the week, kind of little dabs throughout, $1 higher at 198. But late Friday, it's fully $3 higher at $2 dressed. Regional weighted averages this week in the north central states, a 7 to 800 pound steer cost you $150.26 compared to $151.30 last week, as they had a lot more bigger special sales, and $145.27 a year ago. Down the south central part of the United States, 6 to 700 pound steer cost you $151.53 compared to $149.67 last week and $146.05 a year ago. Down in the southeast, a 4 to 500 pound steer cost you $159.26 compared to $155.57 last week and $152.56 a year ago. That wraps up your feeder summary for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the Regional Market News Office in St. Joe, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.